In this episode, the duel has quite the audience as Yuka faces off against Roa. Hey there, my name is Rex, episode 61 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Things start off with Yuka not being extremely happy and her confronting Yuo. After his plan is basically revealed to try and take over Goha as himself, leaving him the only one standing. So realistically, you figure, her way to stay in or keep everyone together would be, if she wins, because, his plan basically, now it's basically revealed, right? He wanted everyone else to lose and just leave him as the sole winner who was basically undefeatable. And of course, he brags about having the fusion card, and we get a little more of some additional perspective of how he received this card after things crashed into the space station at their school. So pretty interesting. We only see the one card. There's still the whole question of where exactly it came from or what exactly this thing's doing. But, we'll probably get those answers. Again, we got a man in space. We got Kaizo up there. But the episode now picks up with everyone all together. Yugo and the gang, along with Roa Roman. So that's nice that they're all together. Roa basically kind of being there on again, off again. I think, just the fact that he's in a band with Roman, and again, is her cousin. I think that, maybe they would be spending more time together. But it's just good to see that. So while they're all out, about to watch a meteor shower, the stadium pops up, and the Goha Stadium, and it's Yuka challenging them to a duel. And so, those of us who have been following previews and, stuff like cast lists and stuff, we knew that, in summary list, we knew that this was going to be happening. The duel between Roa and Yuka. And so, on one hand, I guess Roa is, kind of, I like how he stated it, how it's like a beef against Roa Roman, their band. And so, he's kind of so he wants to be the one to duel, to basically avenge her. So that's the duel. And I think, it kind of also works out because they're both very, not theatrical, but they're both very spotlight-like duelists, with Yuka with the sports and everything, her kind of casting and announcing everything she's doing. And of course, Roa being basically, a musician, a star, right? So I like that. Duel starts off on Yuka's turn with her summoning out the baseball Utopia. Great to see that. What's interesting, now she has another monster, which is a Dododo version, and this one's pretty neat. Pay 500 life points, and it counts as 2 tributes for a fire monster, and that allows her to summon baseball Utopia. So I think that's pretty neat. And solid first turn. I just love her deck. I've been on the side casually. I've kind of started rewatching Zexal, so that's really great. But it's just cool to see this in this duel. On Roa's turn, he brings out Death Doom and has its effect to wipe out her field, destroy our monsters. He's about to attack directly, but she holds on by summoning back by summoning back Baseball Utopia. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm sorry, but interesting. She has a trap that would summon it back and then destroy one of her opponent's monsters. However, Roa's field spell protects all of his monsters from being destroyed by traps. So some interesting interactions here. And there's a lot of, I guess, in a way, some intensity in this duel. So back onto Yuka's turn. Now, after her monster gets destroyed, because Roa attacks into it. Now we're kind of, it's also interesting because, they all have personal stake in this. And, obviously, for one thing, there's still the stuff with the rush duels going on, which, our group needs to not happen. Or it needs rush duels to stay. So obviously, we want Roa to win. But at the same time, Yuka has a good reason to win because, she wants to keep her family together, all of her siblings together. And, even then, we're seeing that they have an interesting moment where she draws 5 for her turn and her shoulder's hurting after, and they say, right, it's because of being on Earth, pitching a lot, and the Earth's gravity and all this and that. That even drawing cards is taking a physical toll on her. So we're able to feel for her in that sense. And even then, she activates another card that will let her draw even more cards. An interesting spell card that would, you draw 3 cards, and if 2 of them are fire monsters, then it can destroy a spell or trap card on the opponent's field. So she does draw into 2 fire monsters, and it gets rid of the field spell. And one of the monsters she draws, she goes ahead and summon. And it's pretty crazy, too, because it's a baseball version of Utopic Dragon. So just her whole deck being basically baseball, fire, Zexal, it's amazing. It's great. So she brings out this thing, and it allows her to summon out, to summon out back Baseball Utopia, basically, Hope. And, she has a pretty solid field and is basically about to win, although Roa is able to hold on for a bit, summoning back Death Doom, although it has some reduced attack. He's able to hold on with about 300 life points. So now on Roa's turn, now is where the comeback basically happens. But I like, in one thing, they bring up their band. And Yuka says she doesn't know them. She doesn't know anything about them, which makes sense because, she was up in space. So obviously she's not going to know this band. And even then, on top of that, she's like, I don't listen to pop music. So I like more so that we're kind of approaching, I guess, Roa from this angle in that, him with his band and his friends and his cousin too, that, they're all together. And we get to see this flashback too. And even more so with the play that he makes on his turn, it's just kind of like a nice, sweet moment for all of that, because Yuka has a trap card that would prevent level 7 or higher monsters from attacking her fire monsters for this turn. So that basically puts Roa out of luck. Though he gets a new hand with card destruction, great card, I love that card. And all of the monsters he summons are instruments. They're like little tiny normal monster instruments. There's a guitar, a bass, and a drums, very obviously meant to be his bandmates. But and it reminds me of like not necessarily Ojamas or like just those type of strategies that really need like the tiny normal monsters. Like, oh shoot, what was that the one spell? But basically along those lines, because these are all small normal monsters, and he has a spell card that would reduce the attack of his opponent's monsters, and then another one that would boost the attack of his little normal monsters, so he can get under that level 7 restriction and then attack for game and beat her. It's a great little moment, so I like that. And I like seeing those little quirky strategies used, because those are fun strategies. Again, basically stuff with like Ojamas and like the Delta Hurricane, and then the other I think it's like Law of the Normal, spells and stuff like that. I'll look them up. I'll try and get them. But on one hand, again, I feel like at this point we're kind of a little more invested in Yuka as well, because we know that what she wants, and realistically, she's not really aligned with Yuo, because she just wants her family to stay together. She doesn't like that he's kicking out everyone, and I guess now with this being her loss, she would probably be kicked out, and it would just be Yuan Euron left. So, and obviously she's unhappy, and she's crying too. It's unfortunate, but obviously eventually Yuga will be the one. I mean, not like, oh, it's so predictable, but Yuga's gonna be one to beat him, and hopefully they'll all come together in a sense. But at the same time, I really like Yuo as a villain. I think that he's way more sinister, obviously, than anyone else. Most everyone else really had a good reason for being an antagonist, or at least an understandable reason, maybe. But Yuo really just kind of seems to be like, no, I just want to control everything, kick out my siblings, I'm the puppet master, kind of stuff like that. Which I like, though. I like that we have a more serious and sinister villain. So, whether he'll be redeemed is up to the question. But at the same time, I kind of want to, just for the sake of like Yuka and the other siblings, I want to see it. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind if he just stays evil and sinister and stuff. And we get a little stinger at the end of this episode, setting up for the next one, as Luke kind of had a little gag throughout the episode, is that he couldn't figure out what to wish for from the meteor shower. And so he gets distracted by some light and follows it outside, and we don't see what exactly the source of it is, but obviously it's setting up into the next episode. Pretty interesting to see that, like, in the actual episode, aside from, just the preview, but it'll be a pretty good one as we're kind of rounding things out. But now things are tied up between both teams. We didn't see, an animation or anything of like a piece, an armament coming off of the Rush Duel robot, but I mean, we can assume if they won, Team Yuga won. But that's been the episode. I thought it was a great one. Just again, I love Yuka and I love Yuka's deck, so that was just always fun to see. And it's always just nice to see Roa. I think this was a good enough episode for him. I would kind of maybe like to see a little more from him, but we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like this episode? What did you think of it? What are your thoughts going forward? And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to show your support. Enable notifications. Make sure you see each new video as it comes out. But anyway, this has been Rex. Have a nice day.